Georgia Virtue presents the Let Me Tell You Why You're Wrong podcast.
Thank you for downloading episode 288. This week, we have taxes. Yay. Hail Canada. Body positive dating. An old man wandering through a protest. Gold bar Bob. Unconfident consumers. Everybody gets sued. Moving target. Taxing the second. And the old men in the polls. I'm Dave Roberts. With me is my part of this endeavor, Representative Emeritus Ken Pullen.
Dave, how are you this week?
Oh, not too bad, man. Not too bad. We're recording way early because we've got a scheduling conflict for later on in the week.
Yeah, we got one of those. I'm talking to one of the one percenters that's going on a fantastic European vacation. In the front of the plane, lay flat beds, all that good stuff.
No, Premium Select.
Premium Select, okay, same difference.
Yeah, I mean it's a recliner.
I just hope the government doesn't shut down while you're in Greece. It would be interesting if you couldn't get back for a couple weeks.
Yeah. I mean it'd be interesting. Yeah,
if you need me to put in any HVAC units, just call. Replace any filters. I can replace a filter. That's about my limited knowledge of air conditioning systems.
Hell, if you can replace a filter and you can wash an outdoor unit, you can maintenance your system and keep it alive for a long time.
Perfect.
It's like changing the oil in your car. I mean, the first time you miss an oil change, your car die? No. But you wonder why some people get 200,000 miles and yours dies at 90? Maintenance.
Just maintenance. Simple maintenance.
It's not as complicated as companies making it sound either. Mostly it's just keeping components clean.
Yep. And you're not going to be on the show next week either. So I've got to find a guest host for next week, or a guest to come on the show. So if anybody knows a good guest host, just shoot me a message on Facebook.
Yeah, and be sure to include nudes.
No,
Ken had to do that when he came on the show.
Hey,
very tasteful.
We're going to talk about nudes in a few minutes in a topic. So
that's how Ken got on the show. He slid into my DMs. So the IRS is coming after ticket resellers.
Yeah, isn't this awesome? So last year, if everybody remembers, Taylor Swift was a huge ticket. And I don't know how much the face value was on the Taylor Swift tickets, but I don't think it was much. Maybe a couple $100. But I remember people reselling those for $1,600, $2,000, some upwards of probably $3,000 to $4,000 to $5,000. In the past, you haven't had to report that income off of ticket resales unless it was $20,000, and they have lowered that now to $600 in profit.
Well, it was always the law that you were supposed to claim it.
Yes, but there was no necessarily record of the ticket resale.
Right. There's no mechanism.
Yep.
Yeah, there's no mechanism.
Yeah.
And this is part of why they've been pushing a cashless society.
It is, so they could track every one of these purchases and sales like this. Yep.
But think about it, when you had a ticket in your hand, and you walked up to somebody and say, "Hey, $500." They hand you 5 Benjamin Franklins. You hand them the ticket. Mm-hmm. You're done.
Yep.
And look, I've done it. As I'm a member of the Gator Club, so we'd get a drawing to get access to tickets to the SEC championship game every year.
Yep.
And when Florida didn't make it, I'd sell it.
Yeah, and I don't know how they came up with the 600 number, but this came out of the American Rescue Plan, which I'm not sure who we're rescuing as part of that plan.
Ukraine. But
yeah, what's going to happen in this case is all these ticket resale websites that people resell the tickets on, if there was a value over $600, they're going to have to send a 1099-K form. So that's what you're going to get in the mail this year is a 1099-K. So when you file your taxes, you're going to have to report what your profit was on those ticket resale, and you're going to be taxed at your normal taxable income rate. So probably anywhere from 15 to 25, 28% of those profits will be taxed.
Yeah.
And this follows, Venmo, Cash App, all those agencies are also having to report any $600 or greater transactions on their platforms too, which is real strange because you could go on a vacation with your friend and your friend could, send you 600 through Venmo. That's going to be reported. So I'm not, it's going to create just more and more confusion when we do our taxes this year.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's because how do you, what you should be doing, I guess, is tracking it. You obviously you only pay the difference in the price of the tickets. So if you sell them at face value, and even if they end up being worth $600, you're able to show on both ends, look, I didn't make a profit.
Yeah, but you got to show it too. So you got to go back and I guess gather receipts or download receipt information if they ever came for an audit. I mean, you want to send that in with your taxes, but naturally, if the IRS knocks on your door, you're going to have that information to show them that you didn't make money on it.
Right.
Ugh, it just opens up more and more people probably getting audited over the next few years, and just this is the $85,000 IRS agents that 85,000 IRS agencies that are getting hired is to do stuff like this. Come after the little guy.
Yeah, we're going after multi-million-dollar corporations. No, you're not.
No, I know
they have lawyers.
Yep.
No, that this will no doubt end up making money for the IRS. Plus, it allows federal agencies to pick and choose who they want to go after.
Yep.
So,
and look, most people probably spent the hell out of that money as soon as they got it. So most of these people are going to have tax bills next year, and like a lot of Americans have no money in their checking account to pay for this kind of stuff, even though they should, but they spend it as quick as they get it.
Oh yeah, I heard the cheapest Taylor Swift ticket at one point was like $3,600. You got to think that's all the way to the nosebleed. And the ginger that sang Richmond, north of Richmond, canceled the show because of the ticket prices. That was damn ridiculous and canceled the show.
Yeah, I saw that. That was good on his part.
I don't know what his financial situation is, but he looks like he could use the money for selling in an arena or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The other part of it is the venue and the ticket people were keeping most of that money.
Yep. And on the back of this too, we're talking about tickets now. I don't know if you saw, but the Biden administration is coming after what they call junk fees or hidden fees when tickets are resold. Look, I don't think any of the fees are. I mean, there could be junk fees, right? But I don't think anything's hidden because every time I buy a ticket online, I may not like the fees, but I know what the fees are when I purchase the ticket. So if the government tells Ticketmaster they can't charge those fees any longer, they're going to make money some other way. It's not like they're not going to make money selling tickets. It's just crazy that in the economic situation we're in today, that the Biden administration is coming after junk fees on tickets or whatever they call it, hidden fees. I thought that was just silly that the White House is doing that.
Well, it's like this. They just call it something else. You ever order DoorDash?
I haven't. We don't have that down in the sticks.
Oh yeah. So what it'll say is it'll be like free delivery. Okay, and you look through, and the prices are 20% higher than if you went to the restaurant yourself. Well, that's not free delivery, but it technically doesn't say delivery fee. They just bump the prices. It's the buying a car theory, the balloon theory.
Yep.
Where the volume in the balloon is the same. So if you squeeze it from one end and lower the interest rate, it inflates the price of the vehicle.
Yep.
You lower the price of the vehicle, increases the rate. It's the volume inside the balloon doesn't change.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of the thing. So if you say, well, you can't charge a fee, okay. Well, it's we'll just bump the price of the tickets 20%, and take off the top. That's
100%. They're going to get their money somehow. I also saw another person comment like, "Wait until the government, is in a ticket reporting agency, or in a ticket business. Wait until you see how much those tickets are going to cost." Which is 100% true. Anytime the government gets involved in healthcare, education, anything, the price just goes through the roof. College. Wait until they're in the middle of the ticket business. It costs $10,000 to see a Swiftie concert.
I think the Eagles are on their last tour.
That'll be an expensive one.
Oh, yeah, it'll be. And hell, half the Eagles are gone or dead.
Yeah.
So, Zeke Heil, Canada. It's a heartwarming story of recognizing a World War II veteran.
Mm-hmm.
It was very nice of Parliament to stand up and recognize this 90-something-year-old man who in World War II fought the Russians.
Yes. For Germany, right?
Well, he was Ukrainian.
He was Ukrainian, but fought
Yeah,
Yep.
fought the Russians on the side of the Germans.
Yep.
Yeah, and no, it did occur to as soon as you put out the trigger words, Ukraine and Russia.
Yep.
Like you morons.
Yeah, and this all happened when Zelensky was in Canada this time visiting, doing. I don't know how he gets around so much when there's a war going on, but he basically was in Canada, trying to get support, thanking the Canadians for supporting him. And they, like you said, they honored this guy, 98-year-old hero, so in quotes, who fought for Ukraine's independence during World War II. Problem was he fought for a notorious Nazi unit. So they basically gave a standing ovation to a former Nazi World War II guy. Yeah,
I mean,
the good thing is they figured this out right away, and I think the Speaker of the House up there, his name is Anthony Rada, who called him a hero. I think the next day he turned around and apologized to everyone for not doing his due diligence as part of this. But hey, you got to do that kind of stuff before in these situations.
But it never didn't occur to him as the words were coming out of his mouth. Fought the Russians. The Russians were our allies in World War II.
Right.
What wasn't until after the fall of Germany and the splitting up of the assets that we see the Iron Curtain fall.
Yep.
Fighting the Russians. Stupid. This guy's a political leader. He's head of parliament. Or head of the House.
Yep. I know. Zelensky, I don't know if you saw the news on him this week. He criticized Poland, Slovakia, and Hungary for banning imports of Ukrainian grain. The Polish prime minister then really shot back at him and said he needs to worry about his own country and not what we're doing up in Poland. So it's he's having some hard diplomatic weeks on his hands. He's not making any friends at this current time.
Well, his shtick is getting old too.
It is, yeah. I mean, just not putting a suit on when you go visit people is kind of old.
Yeah, rolled around in an OD green.
Yeah, that's getting old. Just seeing him in that every time he goes somewhere. Like if you're going to fly on a private jet from Ukraine to Canada, you think you could wear a suit when you landed. I don't think that's asking too much.
He could wear a suit. He could wear a suit in Kyiv.
Yes, he could.
I mean, he's not running around with a rifle,
right?
But for his people, it's a lot of imagery that it's the same thing that every governor here does when there's natural disasters. You can tell how bad it is by how the governor's dressed.
Yep.
Jacket and tie, no big deal. Tie off, jacket on, mild warning. Jacket off, rolled sleeves, something's bad. Got a t-shirt or a pullover that has the governor's seal on it.
Yep.
Some bad stuff's about to happen.
And you kind of skip the vest. I mean, sometimes they'll put a vest on too, and that's pretty serious.
Yeah. The zip up vest.
Yeah, the zip up vest or the windbreaker.
That's as bad as Jim Cantori showing up in your town.
Yep.
So we got a dating show. So if your wife ever leaves, you can go on this one.
I'll pass. Yeah, we're going to do a little bit of humor in the show now. I saw this headline this week. So HBO Max introduced a new dating show. This actually dating show has been airing in the UK or Great Britain since 2016. It's called Naked Attraction. Dave, what this show does is basically a lady comes on trying to find a date, and they've got 8 guys on the stage in tubes that are covering their bodies. And the tubes start coming up from the bottom all the way up to the head, but, at different speeds. So first tube comes up, they show their lower half, and the lady gets to critique the guy's junk. So she's going around. I watched about 5 minutes of this. She goes around, she looks at the junk, she eliminates certain people that she doesn't like. Guess how she's eliminating them. And then it keeps going up and up until she actually picks 2 people. And when she picks those 2 people, they all have to get naked. And then she picks one, and then they go out on a date together. So what? that is the world we live in now, where we've got a show called Naked Attraction, where people pick their dates based on full frontal nudity.
So this is voyeurism.
Yes.
And this is exhibitionism.
Yeah, and this is fully, I mean, if you got HBO Max, this is full, like anybody can watch it, right? Right out in the open.
Yeah, isn't HBO the same place you go to get Sesame Street nowadays?
Yeah, I think you do. Yes, you better have, if you got young kids in the house, you better have the content filters,
Well,
especially young girls in the house. This is like one woman looking at 8 naked guys. So
we're going to figure out how Big Bird got his name.
Yeah, what a show to put on the airwaves. And it was kind of quiet how they introduced this. I saw a couple articles that said HBO quietly introduced a new dating show. Yeah.
Well, they didn't say anything about it. They just kind of put it out there.
Yeah, they just put it out there. It's like 6 seasons that they put out.
And I think what happened is somebody stumbled across it, and it started hitting the Reddits and all that stuff.
It did. That's what happened.
Look, I think dating shows are stupid anyway.
I do too. What was the one in like the 70s and 80s that used to be out that was
the dating game?
Yeah, the
Chuck Woolery?
Yes. Which one was that? That one's actually pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, even so much though. So the movie Mallrats.
Yep.
That was a plot device, was a dating show.
Mm-hmm.
But this is hilarious. I mean, it's and the things that they're pontificating on it. It promotes body positivity. How?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, how?
This is like shallow how to the 1000%.
These are people who want to be naked on camera.
It is, yeah. Yeah, you're just going up on stage and you're getting fully naked, and then 8 guys up there, only one of them wins, so then the other 7 are dismissed.
And what do you win?
Just a date with the other person. That's it.
Right.
Nothing. Just a date. But at least
I will say,
at least you know what each other looks like.
Well, I figure if she's already seen the goods, she picked it. I mean, at least one date's going to go well.
I wonder what the odds are on that first date of actually hitting a home run. I would say pretty high.
I'd say very high.
Yeah, you're touching all the bases.
Yeah, I mean, that son of a bitch, that ball's sitting on a tee.
Oh, the show is totally in the gutter at this point.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm surprised that since there were 6 seasons, I'm surprised this didn't come out during the lockdowns and stuff, along with Tiger King.
I am too. You could have had the guys up on stage with a mask on during COVID.
Well, that might help British dating, considering the dental
the teeth. Yeah.
Which is nowadays a fallacy, but yeah, they show the mouth last.
Yep.
I mean, it's an interesting concept. I mean, it's. I think I just don't like reality shows anyway. I think it's just these are people who obviously want to show off their bodies. I mean, from the previews, everybody's in really good shape and fairly attractive. Like this pushes body positivity. It's not like anybody went up there and go, no, the fat one. Where's the fat one?
Where's the fat one with the little junk? That's the one I want.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, that's too buku. No. Much smaller. That one.
That one. I'll take
What's his name?
So how do we go from this story to Biden and Trump both speaking to members of UAW in Detroit?
Speaking of hanging out your weenie, Biden walks the picket line in Michigan.
Yeah, first president ever that's done this, right? I know the press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, described it as a historic trip.
He's not crossing the Delaware.
No. No.
He went to a protest, stumbled around, shook some hands, gave a little speech, said, "You deserve a significant raise and other benefits."
Mm-hmm.
What a brave soul. I mean, to pander directly to people's faces.
Right.
They were calling him out. This had to happen. They were calling him out as people were interviewing the protester. Well, what about President Biden? He's supposed to be the most union forward president ever. And they're, well, where is he?
Yeah. This is. This was just a press photo op since his poll numbers are so bad. But I'm not sure this actually helps Biden because it's like what we always say: Republican giving raises to teachers. Most teachers vote Democrat a lot of times. All these union workers are already voting Democrat. So what's the point of this? It's just pandering to the utmost percent.
Wow, there are a lot of blue collar guys that voted for Trump. A lot of them ignore their union. The unions supported Biden and supported Hillary before that, but there are lots and lots of union blue collar guys that vote Republican.
More and more with Trump did. Yeah, I totally agree. Like 2016, I think he got a lot more vote, especially up in Michigan, in the blue collar areas, West Virginia.
Well, but so did Reagan.
Yep.
Reagan was the head of a union.
Yep, I agree.
The Screen Actors Guild or whatever it was. Talked to a lot of union people when he was spokesperson for General Electric.
Yep.
So Reagan got a lot of support from union members, even though the unions themselves support the other team.
Yeah.
To say he walks the picket line, he can't even walk up a set of stairs.
No, he fell down coming down the steps again on Air Force One. And I don't know if you saw, but they're actually having President Biden walk down a short step. So he gets out of the back of the plane now versus the front of the plane where all the steps are. They've made him this special way to get off planes. And he also came out this week. He's working with which is good. There's nothing wrong with this, but he's working with a sports guy to help him stretch and body range of motion, all that kind of stuff. So he's working with somebody now to help with his walking. He's just getting old. I mean, that's the problem. We've got 80-something-year-old president that's not in the best health, and he still maintains a schedule flying all over the place. It's tough on him.
Yeah, but I think he flies like Dracula. I think they have a coffin, in Air Force One. He goes in there and they plug fresh blood into him and start doping, as if he were Lance Armstrong, getting oxygen back into his blood, trying to make him alert for when they land.
Yep. And another thing about this, Biden went up there, Trump went up there on Wednesday. There was a presidential debate on Wednesday also that he's not participating in, but he went out there and spoke to a group of mostly retired UAW members that was not affiliated with this, strike, but he's up there too. So it's looking like, Biden and Trump, they're going to that same area, which, hey, Michigan's a huge battleground state. Probably who wins Michigan wins the presidency next year. So they're both been up there talking with people.
But just reelected Whitmer.
That lady's crazy up there. The things she did during COVID and the lockdown she did, for them to reelect her is just it shows voter stupidity in that area.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the attraction is to her.
Yeah, me either.
Because she was the first to lock their butts down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe particularly if you're a union guy, you continue to get your paycheck.
Yep.
So maybe being locked down wasn't so bad.
Yeah, maybe so.
The rest of us, it sucked.
Yeah, I saw this week where these auto workers, the average cost to build a Tesla right now, like per hour per worker, is $44 an hour is what it costs to build a Tesla. Ford and GM are up in the $60 to $70 range, and they said if the strike goes through, it'll be up in the $80-ish range. So it's almost double to build a Ford now what it costs to build a Tesla from per hour basis for a worker. I don't know how that's sustainable long term, especially with the government mandates of everybody going electric by a certain period of time. So um, I don't think a lot of these demands are going to be met. It'll be interesting to see how long this strike makes it, because they were asking for a 4-day work week. They were asking for pension systems again. They had a lot of demands that were just unrealistic.
Well, they were looking for a 4-day, 34-hour work week,
Yeah.
not a 4x10.
Yeah, 4 by 8. Yep, exactly.
So 4x10 is absolutely sure.
Mm-hmm.
We're still getting the same amount of work done per 40
They're
hours.
asking for 32 hours a week, so totally different. This is like
Right.
we're just cutting out a full day.
Yeah, because we want to.
Yeah, for more pay, right? Yep,
Yeah. Well, we want 40% more with
20% less work.
20. Right.
Yep.
I mean,
Who doesn't
Yeah,
want
me
that?
too.
Yeah, sign me up. Where'd I sign up for that?
I guess if you're going to ask big.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I guess you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So we got Gold Bar Bob Menendez.
Wow, don't you have some gold
Gives-
bars laying around your house?
Actually, I do.
Nice.
Not kilo bars.
Not kilo bars.
No, not. Yeah, I don't have $100,000 worth of gold laying around, but I got some collectible things.
Yeah, so he got arrested this week. Senator out of New Jersey. He's been up there forever, but he was arrested or accused for accepting bribes in exchange for wielding his influence to aid the Egyptian government. Man, he had all kind of stuff, didn't he? He had like, cash, $500,000 in cash stuffed in his envelopes inside his jacket with his name on it. He had these gold bars, like we were saying. And they looked at his search history in Google, and he had searched for how much is a 1 kilo gold bar worth. So he didn't even know how much the gold bar was worth.
Yeah, I mean, we're not talking about the 1 ounce bars that other people. Well, actually, 1 ounce of gold is almost nothing. Gold is very heavy.
It is, right?
One ounce gold piece is relatively small versus a 1 ounce silver piece. Look, this guy's been in trouble before. He got a mistrial for corruption. I mean, and the excuse he gave. Now, look, we're recording so early. He may, in fact, step down.
Yeah, but he's been kind of
but he said-
defiant so far. I mean,
He has been defiant. He says that he every week he goes to the bank, withdraws $1,000 in cash just to have it on hand. Like, no, you did not pull out $500,000 doing it $1,000 at a time. That's 500 weeks.
Yep.
And look, there are a lot of theories on this. One is he's been a rotten apple for a while, and this is an excuse. New Jersey has a Democrat governor, so if he steps down, obviously a Democrat would be appointed. When he first time he got popped, Chris Christie was the governor.
Yep.
So the Democrats rallied around him to keep him in office because they didn't want to lose that vote. That's how sick politics is.
I know it is. Yeah, but Fetterman actually, first thing he's ever done right, broken clock. He actually said he needed to resign, and they've got a Democrat governor in New Jersey. So if Bob Menendez resigned, he would just appoint another Democrat to that office. So calling on this guy to resign is not much. It's not like they've got, if he would be, if this guy was resigning and he was going to be appointed a Republican replacement, no Democrat would ever call for this guy to resign.
Every one of them to down to a person would say, we need to let the justice system play out.
Right.
Yeah, that's the sickness in politics is you'll protect somebody even though you know they're a crook, just because. And look, the reason he's staying in office, my best guess is resigning makes him look guilty.
Mm-hmm.
But so does a jacket with the United States Senate and your name on it with cash pulled out of the pockets. Does not look great either.
Look, I always, when I was running for office, I always heard jokes about, representatives at the Capitol back in the days before they did a bunch of reform on how much money campaign contributions, all that kind of stuff. They called it a rainy day fund because they said you'd go in your office and hang up a raincoat and you'd come back and there'd be cash stuffed inside of your raincoat. I never saw that happen, but that was that's kind of what he had. He had a rainy day raincoat where just had cash stuffed in it.
And he's an amateur. That's amateur level.
Yep.
If you want to learn how to really be dirty, go talk to Nancy Pelosi.
Yep.
Is have your spouse do a bunch of trades.
Yep.
With inside information. Plus, I don't know about you, Kenny, but where in the hell would you spend $500,000 in cash?
I think my wife could do it. I'm not sure I could. It would take me a long time to spend $500 in cash.
It's not that. Remember, every time you do a transaction, $10,000, $10,000 and a penny or more.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a CTR, currency transaction report. I guess
just grocery stores and shopping and stuff like that. It'd be hard to spend it'd be hard to spend $500 in cash. It really would.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you can go to the grocery store. Yes, you can.
That's like $100 or not today. It's not $100 at a time. Like when I go to the grocery store now, it's like $300. But it would be really hard to spend that kind of money.
Hell, some of the restaurants don't even take cash anymore.
Yeah, I went to.
And when's the last time Bob Menendez paid for his own dinner?
I know. I went to a place last night that didn't take cash. It was total pay at the table with a QR code. So more and more cash is becoming harder to use at certain places.
And I don't understand why restaurants wouldn't want cash, other than they worry about theft.
Yeah, I think it's theft at this point. They don't want the workers there having their hands on money.
I mean, it's. I was at Chops and just left a few $100s on the table, and the manager's like, "Oh, we don't take cash." I'm like, "What do you mean you don't take cash? I don't want to change. There's tips in it."
I know. I mean, they'd much rather have cash as a tip. You would think, anyway.
Yeah,
I would.
That's the manager's like, "Well, Mr. Roberts, we'll make an exception for you this time, but you need to use your card." Like,
jeez.
Well.
Oh well.
I don't know what. Cash was king. Mm-hmm. It still is with me. I mean, if I don't have to pay a credit card transaction fee, yeah, you get a discount.
Yep. And more people are going to that now, where you get a 3% discount, or they charge you a 3% surcharge if you're using a card.
Right.
I know.
So it's ridiculous, but that's the point. But what I don't understand what he's going to do with that $500,000 in cash. I mean, Hunter, everything was electronic, and yes, his winnies hung way out also. Mm-hmm. But it's not like he hasn't done that on camera before. Yep. But I know he thinks he's being slick. But who the hell? Your jacket pockets? You don't have a safe, and you keep it in your house. You don't have an off-site location where you can stash your gold bars and cash. Or is this just walking around money?
Yeah, that's the question. How much is stashed in other places? Yeah, that's probably where all the cash is. Because if he's got that at home, yeah, there's no telling how much he's got in a storage locker somewhere. I would hope anyway.
Right.
I would hope.
Who was it who got busted? I think it was out of Louisiana. Got busted with bricks of cash in his freezer.
Mm-hmm.
Wrapped up like frozen meat.
I forget who that was, but I remember hearing about it.
But yeah, this is nothing new. It's just ever since the 80s, they've made cash harder and harder and harder to spend.
Right.
Because it used to be, and the drug trades would change this. If you walked into a bank with a couple $100,000, you just walked into a bank with a couple $100,000. They said, "Thank you very much. Here's your receipt, and here's your checkbook. Have a good day."
Yep.
Hell, half of Miami's built on coke money. Because these drug runners had so much money, they started banks. But back in Menendez, I think he's in deep doo-doo.
Yeah, I think he's in a lot of trouble.
And when there's only 50 of you, well, there's 50 of you, including all your colleagues that are Democrats. And when you have 20 of those 50 saying, "Yeah, you really need to step down,"
yeah, it's time to go.
Yeah, unless this is all political theater that they want to be seen telling him to step down and go, "Well, I went against my party."
Mm-hmm. That could be part of it. Really could be.
So, U.S. consumer confidence tanks.
Yeah, how's this happening with Bidenomics going so strong, right? Yeah,
I know the American Rescue
Yeah,
Plan.
yeah, but I mean, these numbers mean nothing to me. But consumer confidence index fell to 103 in September from 108 last month. I don't know what that index is based on, but analysts were expecting a smaller decrease from actually 108 to 105. So analysts actually predicted that consumer confidence was going to fall. This is people are starting to think there's going to be a recession in the next year. That rose, to perceived likelihood. Interest rates continue to rise. They're up to 7.41% now on a 30-year fixed rate, which is, it's just locked up the housing market because like myself, who wants to leave a 2.8 for a 7.41? So, there's a lot of these factors. And like we just talked, I was making fun of groceries, but groceries are outrageous still. Inflation is going strong, even though they're saying it's coming down. So all this is going into U.S. consumer confidence continuing to go down.
It's first of all, it's not coming down; it's slowing.
Yeah, it's slowing. Yeah, but is it?
No. You're using the same verbiage they use.
Is it really slowing? Yes. Yeah, you're saying it's not going up as fast as it used to, is what you're saying.
Same idea as I cut the budget. No,
right.
You didn't.
You just didn't spend quite as much.
You slowed the increase.
Right. Exactly.
All right. Old joke. Guy goes rolling through a stop sign, gets pulled over. Cop says, you rolled through that stop sign. He goes, yeah, but I slowed down. No one's coming. I went. He goes, but you didn't stop. He goes, yeah, but I slowed down. He goes, finally, get out of the car. Starts beating the hell out of the guy. And leans over and goes, hey, do you want me to slow down or do you want me to stop? Mm-hmm. And then goes over to the passenger, punches him in the face. He goes, what's that for? He goes, because I know you, as soon as I walk away, you say, I wish you tried that with me.
Right.
But that's the thing is let's say we're reduced to inflation. No, you slowed it.
It's just not going up quite as fast.
And at the cost of how many people, how many people's lives.
Yeah, and you're killing the housing market. There's no homes on the market now. This is the lowest number of home inventories ever. It's been in the market, I forget how many years, but there's no inventory. Builders aren't building because they know the interest rates are real high. So you've got nobody selling and nobody building at this point.
Well, the interest rates are high for them too because they borrow money to build houses.
Yeah, exactly. They're trying to get construction loans. So it's we're not in a good situation from a home perspective at the moment.
Not even if you go down and pay in cash because home prices haven't come down because inventory hasn't increased. Right. So we're kind of the housing market is starting to falter.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Everybody who ran out in the last few years and got a real estate license and thought, man, this is great. This is never going to end. You're going to see the people, the cream will rise to the top with the real estate stuff. And you'll find a lot of people who used to be real estate agents, stuff like that, doing other things.
Yeah, they've already started. I see it on Facebook all the time now where, you're right. Almost everybody I knew was going out getting a real estate license over the last 3 or 4 years. And now it's just people are having to look for other jobs at this point.
Yeah, and the good agents that know what they're doing will continue to, maybe tighten their belts a little bit. Will continue to be in the business, yep. but the ones who aren't, the ones that and look, real estate has a lot of hobbyists. Mm-hmm. Wives typically, and I'm sorry to sound sexist, wives that have husbands who make a good living, kids are at school all day. Let me get my real estate license. Because it doesn't cost a whole lot to operate, and you can set appointments, and you can work around your kid's soccer schedule and things like that. It's a great gig for somebody who doesn't have to have a 9 to 5.
Right. Yeah, very flexible.
But there are people who made it their 9 to 5 and now are like, uh-oh. But look, inflation is all right. I don't know how many summer vacations I ruined this year. Air conditioner's not working. Look, it's 20 years old. It's got to go. Well, how much? Given the price, like, oh, no. Well, I guess we can go to the lake instead of Disney.
Yeah, there went Panama City.
But it's that's an extreme example, but it's the same thing with car repair. A $3,000 transmission is now $4,000. A trip to the grocery store is not $100 anymore. Not even for the two of us that live here. There's only two of us. Yes, I know I'm fat, but my consumption of calories has not increased threefold. My grocery bill sure as hell has.
Yeah, it's amazing how expensive groceries are. Gas is $4 a gallon, or creeping up to $4 a gallon. Yeah, it's a tough environment that we're in.
Well, what it does is it trickles down, and I know how much people hate the term trickle down economics, but it trickles down in that I'll go when I go to the butcher shop. Finley's butcher shop is fantastic out here, but I'll skip the Wagyu and go with Prime or something like that. I still prefer to do business with Finley's because the meat is way superior to a grocery store, and I like doing business with local guys. But yeah, as you take the next rung down, I've had this conversation with liquor store owners for a long time. Does this recession help you or hurt you? He goes, no, the volume stays the same and the profit margin stays the same.
Different stuff.
But I sell a lot less IPA and a lot more Bush.
I could see that.
Well, with Vice, you don't quit. I mean, I don't know if you've ever done one of those Christmas things. You go to somebody's house that they can't afford Christmas for their kids, but there's a trash can full of empty beer cans and cigarette boxes, and scratched off lottery tickets.
Yeah, scratched off lottery. I think people may play the lottery more, hoping for it to win.
Yes, desperation.
Yes.
And once again, who wins? The state. So Hunter Biden is suing everyone. You get a lawsuit, and you get a lawsuit.
Yeah, so last week we talked about him suing the IRS for releasing his tax forms. Now this week he sued Rudy Giuliani over his famous laptop scandal, claiming that the former New York City mayor hacked and manipulated data on an external drive in a total annihilation of his digital privacy. So he did this he filed it in last Tuesday, in a U.S. District Court of Central California. Where they accessed his hard drive. So I guess that's where it was found. So that's where the lawsuit was entered. Yeah, what is this? Is this a diversion tactic on his part at this point, where we're just going to sue everybody so people are looking at not looking at him?
It's got to be.
Yep. Yes, and he also sued, the Delaware store owner. His name was John Paul Mac Isaac. And so, yeah.
And that went
nowhere. So he's got quite a few lawsuits out there hanging on. It's all around potential. I mean, most of it's around his laptop and his dealings with foreign entities and money that was coming in and out. I mean, this is not going to get settled anytime before the election in 2024. Even if Biden wins again, it'll all go away at a certain point. I mean, this is not about
the election. This is about him creating plausible deniability. Him trying to announce a doubt at just one juror's mind.
Yeah, it is.
Because he knows he's going to go on trial.
Yeah, but when does he go on trial? I mean, he's not going on trial next year, probably. I mean, it's just going to be way out in the future. I don't think he'll ever see a day in jail.
Look, if Biden becomes the nominee, Trump beats Biden. Biden on his way out will pardon Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
He'll give him a blanket pardon for any federal offenses he may have committed, and that'll leave it up to the states if they want to prosecute him. But there's just no way he doesn't pardon Hunter out the door.
I agree.
The worst thing could happen would be a medical emergency where he has to leave office like now, because I'm not sure Mello would do it. I think we discussed this before. We got looting in Philly, and Target is getting the hell out of there.
Yeah, so these are two separate, really, well, I don't know if they're two separate events. They started protesting in Philadelphia last Tuesday because a judge dismissed all charges against a former police officer in a killing of Eddie Arazi Jr., if you remember that case. So after that occurred last Tuesday, there were protests in town, but these protests turned into looting at that point, where a large group of basically young kids in Philadelphia just terrorized and looted stores during an 8-hour crime spree. So, I mean, they were going through Lululemon, Apple. They were going through all these, stores in downtown Philadelphia and just absolutely destroying the stores. And this is...
Well, a couple of things that have made this really popular is you no longer need a pawn shop. You don't need a fence. So I saw a video of a guy stealing like a 60-inch TV or 72-inch TV. The damn thing was so big he's dragging across the floor and security's just standing there. But you take it and you discount it because you already took the 5-finger discount, 20%. You stick it on Marketplace.
I know. There's no point. Yeah, Marketplace is where everything is sold nowadays. So probably all the stuff that was stole last night is on Marketplace for a 50% markdown. And yeah, but this goes hand in hand with mentioning Target. Target is closing 9 stores, 2 in Harlem, New York, 2 in Seattle, Washington, 3 in San Francisco and Oakland, and 3 in Portland, Oregon. And the reason they're closing this down is because of retail theft. They said there's no reason to keep these stores open because we keep having all this theft in our stores, and we're continuing to lose profits or lose money because of this. So.
Well, CVS is closing a bunch of stores.
CVS is doing the same thing. Target's locking up certain inventory in stores.
The problem with the locking cases is if you've got a short list to go to CVS, it'll take you an hour to get 5 items because you have to get an associate every time you want to. I need the Flonase, so it comes over, unlocks it. I mean. It was a Walgreens or CVS. I can't remember which one. Probably both of them.
And it's out in San Francisco.
But
it's doing it.
They're pushing the delivery stuff.
Yep. Okay.
And honestly, I don't blame them. If you don't operate a brick and mortar, I don't blame you.
Yep. So they said last year they took a $700 million hit from inventory shrinkage. This year they're going to have to cut profits by $500 million. So this is not a random person goes in and steals, a TV or whatever they can stick in their pockets. I mean, this is $500 million is not small from a theft perspective.
Look, odds are anyone with a 401k owns pieces of these retail establishments.
Yeah, no doubt.
So they're not just stealing TVs; they're stealing from Americans' retirement. They're literally stealing Americans' futures because all those mutual funds that you have no idea how, maybe self-directed, but you just like, what this fund or this fund. I guarantee you, if you're well diversified, you're in retail and somewhere, and you're watching your dividends walk out the door.
Oh, no doubt.
And the one job of government is protect private property rights and protect individuals, and can't even do that. This is a good time to remind you these are our opinions, not those of anyone not on the show or any respective company for which we may work, own, or otherwise associate ourselves with on a regular or irregular basis. Also, you can find other episodes and relevant stories over at thegeorgiavirtue.com. Let's go with the mule, Kenny.
I'm not sure who the mule is this week. I actually put a note on this. So my mule is, I don't know if you saw last weekend, but Taylor Swift decided to go see a Kansas City football game and sit in tight end Travis Kelce's suite. This news was like consume the internet. I mean, even up until this recording, this is all I see on Instagram. Now, what I'm not sure if the mule is actually Taylor Swift and Travis for creating this scene, or all the people that give a damn that they went out on a date and she went to a football game. So I'm kind of torn on, is the mule all the people who care, or is it Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift?
Look, this is apparently she's got a book coming out too.
She is so good marketing herself, though. You have to give her credit. I mean, good grief. Travis Kelce got 300,000 new followers on Instagram. I don't know if you saw that. I'll shut up after this. But his jersey now is the number 1 selling jersey in an NFL after Taylor Swift went to see him play in a football game.
And she acted like the game was a blowout.
Mm-hmm.
And for those listening, this is not the last game. It's the week previous.
Right.
But it was a blowout. Kelce scored on a 3-yard out route or something. And she lost her mind, was hugging Travis's mom. Like it's the most fantastic thing she's ever seen in her life. I'm like, this is what he does for a living.
And I know you saw this because you commented on Facebook, and I saw it. Is they went out to dinner at some restaurant afterwards, and she paid the restaurant to shut down. And it's like people were complaining about that. Hell, if I've got enough money, I've got Taylor Swift money, shut it down. Let us have a quiet dinner.
Yeah,
I have no problems with that.
Yeah, this was Neil Singleton that had it on his barbecue and politics page. Look, man, it's why else you get rich
to do stuff like that.
Yes, Donald Trump slept with a porn star. Well, yeah. Why don't she become a billionaire? Like, yeah, her. I want to meet her. Man, yeah, people.
She is a genius, though. She's not a mule, but she is an absolute genius for her marketing capabilities.
Did you hear the theory of how she got out of the stadium because no one saw her leave?
In a ice machine or in a popcorn machine.
A popcorn cabinet, a storage cabinet.
I wasn't sure if she got out of if that was going out of the stadium or going out of his hotel room. I couldn't, so it was going out of the stadium.
It was out of the suite. So they're in the lower parking lot, and everyone's like, "That's her in there. That's her in there. That's her in there." And I guess she didn't want to be seen or didn't want to be mobbed or whatever. But it sure is a funny thing, is because she sure does like writing those checks.
Yep.
Or getting written those checks. You know, those $3,600 a piece tickets. Oh man, I don't think they're necessarily mules for it. I think the part of the restaurant is the people that worry about that kind of stuff. Like, I don't care.
Look, we've got a government shutdown coming. Probably, hopefully, it'll be resolved by when this comes out. You've got a war in Ukraine going on, and people's mind exploded over Travis and Taylor. So those are the mules, right? The people that
you get a sitting senator who is the chairman of the Foreign Services Committee or whatever it is, found with bales of cash stuck into pockets in his jackets in his closet, and we're worried about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce having a private dinner in a restaurant. It's all a distraction.
I mean, it's truly amazing.
I know, it's like a baby. You start shaking your keys. Like, oh, look, keys. All right, so Trump edges Biden in Lowe's latest poll results.
Yeah.
51-42.
Yeah, wow, right?
I don't know if I believe it.
I don't know if I believe it either. This was a Washington Post poll that came out over the previous week. And look, I mean, this was some of the important points in there. Is President Joe Biden's job approval rating is 19 points underwater. His handling of the economy and immigration are career lows. I mean, if you look at immigration, speaking of that, there's 10 to 12,000 people coming off the southern border every single day. You know, a record number of people are say they worst off under his presidency. 75% say he's too old for another term. That's Republicans and Democrats. 75% say he's too old. 44% say they're worse off financially. I mean, none of the numbers look good for Biden right now, and Trump is somewhat searching because of that. I mean, it's just every time Biden gets out in the limelight or does something, it doesn't look good. So I'm not sure I believe it's 51-42, but does Trump have a chance? I mean,
yes.
I think he does, yeah.
But this is, all right, so, a couple weeks ago, Florida beat Tennessee. And as good as it feels being a Florida fan, and how much the team has struggled the last few years feels good. The fact is, Tennessee beat themselves a good bit, tons of penalties, and Tennessee really beat themselves. It's hard to, if I'm objective and beat my chest and say, Florida's the greatest team on earth. No. They had a good day, some lucky breaks, and Tennessee played very poorly. Yep. This is what's going on here. Trump is not any better candidate than he was 3 years ago. He's just not.
No, but the numbers are changing for him, though. I mean, look in this.
They are because Biden is so bad.
Yes.
And this is what worries me a little bit is if we get a switcheroo and you go and be hammering Biden, and poof, it's Gavin Newsom, you have to reload all your ammo.
Yep. And then in this poll, 62% Democrats and Democrat-leaning independents say the party should pick someone other than Biden as its nominee. But when asked about who they should pick, if not Biden, only 8% said Kamala Harris, 8% Bernie Sanders, 7% Robert F. Kennedy Jr. So Democrats want somebody else, but they're like, if you look out there, there's nobody else for them to pick. There's like the bench for the Democrats has nobody on it at the moment.
And look, Gavin Newsom talks a really good game. Really good game. Even though he wants to double the tax on guns and ammo. Which, oddly enough, Newsom has not been a big raise tax guy. Not that you could really raise taxes in
You can't
California
raise it
any more than
anymore.
they are. But he is very attractive, very well spoken.
He is, but does he win
think
Michigan and Minnesota? And
I think he's too
I
aloof.
think he's too aloof. I don't think there's any way he.
I think he's got Loeffler's problem. Kelly Loeffler's not a bad person. She's a bad candidate.
Yeah, I don't think a Democrat from California can win, but Democrats want somebody else, and he seems like him and Michelle Obama are the only two kind of national Democrats that I think would have a chance.
She would have to start raising money fast, and she could.
She got paid $750,000 for a speech last week in Europe.
But that's her personal.
It
money.
is, but point is that woman could raise money. Who wouldn't donate to? What Democrat would not donate to Michelle Obama if she threw her hat in the ring?
Oh yeah, historic.
Yeah, it would be. It'd be a first black female president.
First.
Yes. Yep. I don't know. These numbers just look terrible for Biden, and Trump's numbers are getting better. Now the problem with Trump is, I think if he just shut up and didn't say stupid stuff, he could potentially have a chance. But again, last week he talked about. He went off on the pro-life crowd and said he was the one that made the pro-life crowd before him. They had no impact on anything. And he said these heartbeat bills were dumb. He would never have passed those. And then he came out this week and said the government needs to shut. So it's like he just has to open his mouth, and he refuses not to say. I think if he acted presidential between now and next November, he's got a good shot. But who knows what's coming out of his mouth at any point? I mean, why would you offend a pro-life community? I don't.
What he needs to go. He needs to go to his basement and run the 2020 campaign from Joe Biden.
He refuses. Yeah, he does 100%. Just go to your basement and shut the hell up. But he will not do that.
It'd be not Joe Biden.
I know. Just anybody but Joe.
Yeah, look, I don't know how many people are going to admit making the mistake with voting for Joe, but just stop doing stupid. He won't listen to anybody, and that's his problem. That's why it was hard for him to keep cabinet members and everything else. Is he won't listen to anybody, and honestly, in his business life, he hasn't had to.
No, you're right.
You know, when you're CEO and you say, "Look, this is the way it is," well, that's just the way it is. You can't do that as president. There are three legs on that stool, and they all have to stand up the same height.
Yeah, he just refuses. But I think he's got the primary. We talk about this a lot. He's got the primary wrapped up. These debates that Republicans are having are pointless. They're meaningless. No one's challenging Trump at this point. And then when polls come out like this, I mean, look, who knows if this is not media-generated bias also? I mean, what the Democrats want is Trump to be running against Biden. So by putting a poll out like this, it gives Trump the edge over Biden. It just makes Republican voters think that he has even a greater chance, and they're going to vote for him. So I don't put anything past Washington Post at this point.
That and I don't believe in national political polls.
Right, everything's
like
local at this point.
Because that's not
statewide.
Well, that's not the way the presidency's won.
I agree.
You need to run 50 polls in 50 states, and then start putting together.
But hell, 40 of those don't even matter. I mean, California doesn't matter. New York doesn't matter. Yeah, it's really about 5 polls in Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, right. South Carolina. There's truly only 5 or 6 toss-up states now. Yeah, Arizona's a big one. Yeah, so that's where you're right. I mean, the polls are in about 5 or 6 states, and that's who's going to win the election. A national poll means nothing.
Yeah, so the fact that right now on the popular side, the popular vote, Trump has the lead, and a nice one. It's completely irrelevant. It's something for pundits like us to sit around and talk about, but really in how things are going to unfold in 24, it's completely irrelevant. And if the primary was closer, I'd say the same thing. But Primer's just not even
Right.
close. If we were talking about 45, 50 or something like that,
No,
where
it's not close at
they're
all.
running neck and neck, yeah, then we start need to look in state by state. But no, it's all he has to do is what was Alan Shepard's prayer? Dear Lord, don't let me F up. That's all he has to do. That's the only prayer he needs to say.
Yeah, very, very
All right,
true.
Kenny, as we're running along, what do you have for closing
All right,
thoughts?
just wishing you the best vacation.
Thank you.
And I know we're running low, so I'll close on that.
This was a story from that Eric found. Keep your mutt out of Publix. Publix is putting new signage up that no pets are allowed, registered service animals only. And it basically doesn't include emotional support animals.
Really? Okay.
Now, look, if you need to cuddle with your peacock just to make it through Publix, maybe you should order and have them put the groceries in the back of your car
Great
for
point.
you. But it's against the law. It's against FDA to have your animals in there. Just leave your damn
Yeah,
dog
they'll be
at
okay
home.
for an hour.
You don't need to. Yeah, you don't need to have a purse poodle, or just go to the store, buy what you're gonna do, come home and say hi, and they're super happy to see you when you get home. So, I know how people are like, you don't like dogs. No, I love dogs, just not the damn grocery store. So on that happy note of me griping and whining, big thanks to Eric Cumby, our editor, and the guy who brought us the last story to outrage me. Ken Poland, my partner. I'm Dave Roberts. Have a great week.
Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night. Try to catch me howling at the moon.